Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, the World of Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Italian auto-reloading medium tank, the Caro Combattimento 45-ton. This is by far the rarest Tier 10 available in World of Tanks Blitz, and when I say available, it's not. I don't know when Wargaming plans on making this tank for purchase, or if they ever plan on making it available for purchase. Now, if you were to ask me what the rarest tank in Tier 10 is, or not Tier 10, but overall in the game, it would be the AE Phase 1, a Tier 9 American Collector Heavy that has a 0.05% drop chance to get your hands on. Not only that, but you need to purchase the Battle Pass and grind the entire Battle Pass out to even start getting your hands on the Operation Container crates. If you don't want to do that, then you're going to have to pay upwards of 10,000 gold just to make your way to the final stage. Personally, I hate the way Wargaming has the AE Phase 1 in the game. I think it's possibly the dumbest decision they've ever made. It's probably made them a lot of money, but it's definitely made me and a lot of tank collectors very mad in the fact that it's almost impossible to get your hands on. However, the Carro was actually obtainable for a lot of tank collectors, but you needed a very deep pocket. It was about $250 US to get your hands on this tank. The only real upside of it was down to the fact that you had double gold bundles to get your hands on the vehicle. So if you bought the gold bundles, you got coupons that got you this tank. So essentially I managed to get the tank and about 200,000 gold or something crazy like that lasted me throughout the entire year. So I'm mad, but I'm also not too mad about the tank's release. However, if you're an average player, getting your hands on the Carro is essentially impossible because of how dang expensive it was. The Carro is a very fun tank. In fact, as I've said in the past, it is now my favorite Tier 10 available. The Progetto was, for a very long time, the Progetto 65 was one of my favorite Tier 10s. When it first came out, it was my favorite. But then the 5A was released, and I really liked the 5A for a long time. It became my favorite. Then the AMX M454 got buffed, and it got tungsten, and all these crazy things, and it became my favorite. And then, like, 2 weeks later, the Carro came out, and instantly became my favorite Tier 10. The reason the Carro is such a fun and interesting vehicle is because it trades a lot of things that you'd want on a medium for a lot of other things that you'd want on a medium. For example, it's not the fastest, goes at 55 with a pretty mediocre power to weight, but what it doesn't have in mobility, it features in gun depression, sitting at 10 degrees. It's got troll armor, but not good armor, so it's not the most armored vehicle, but to make up for that, it's got 380 damage per shot, and 3000 DPM with an auto-reloading gun. But to make up for that really good DPM with the single shot, you have a 20-second reload on your first shell, which, as we can see here, is so freaking long that I don't even have a shell in the beginning of this battle, essentially making me quite useless. It's one of the big downsides of the Carro. Now against us, there's a Sheridan, a Progetto, and an M60. They also have a Chieftain Mark 6, and my entire team is camping behind me in spawn. Isn't that very fun? Well, I'm not really sure how I'm going to work this situation, but I do see the Sheridan has no camo, and he also apparently has no clue how to use his tank, but that's fine with me. There's, okay, well, apparently, this is, not looking to be a very enjoyable game so far, if I'm going to be completely honest, but we're going to try our best and see if we can get any damage out. We can see that the Chieftain is just uncontested where he is. There's nothing I can do to really fight him, but we got a nice slap into that player there. Now it looks like the Chieftain is going to be pushing on me, so I'm going to leave. This is a waste of my time to fight this player, so I'm going to make my way over this way, and maybe we'll be able to get behind him. We can see that our E100 and Object 26A version 4 have decided that making their way over towards base A was the smartest decision they could, which is just bad. Already this is turning out to be quite an absolutely awful game. But if I can get behind this Chieftain, I guarantee I'm going to get a very, very nice chunk of damage. There's a 536 slap into his tank, a 625 slap into his vehicle, another 576 slap into the Chieftain, and let's finish it off with a 366. With that right there, we just brought ourselves from about 800 damage to 2,900. I want you to think about that very quickly. We just literally doubled our, actually almost tripled our damage just in that one clip. And that is where the Carro is by far one of the deadliest Tier 10s available in the game. It's really when you start to showcase what this gun can do. Now we've got the enemy Sheridan, and I'm going to try and get a slapperoonie into him. Now, unfortunately, we shot our last shell, which means I'm not going to shoot. Well, when I say last shell, I mean last shell that actually gives me okay DPM. Once you dump into that final shell, your damage per minute goes to about -10. So because of that, you have to be very careful with a tank like the Caro not to eat into that final shell. And you'll notice that the dispersion on this tank is not the best. It's in fact quite possibly some of the worst. It is actually the worst for medium. So when you add all those factors into place, the Caro definitely has some big downsides. But we got a nice slap into the prog right there. We also killed him with the ram, which means we can finish off the 60 TP with a shell. And look at that. I mean, that's a pretty incredible game to showcase what the Caro is capable of doing. We were able to deal 4,708 damage, and that one clip into the Chieftain was probably the deadliest clip of damage I've ever done in this vehicle. I'm not even joking. That was probably the nastiest damage I've ever done in the Caro. So not only were we able to pull out an ace, not only did we make 180,000 credits, but whoa mama, we did 2,103 damage in 4 shells to the enemy Chieftain Mark 6. This is what makes the Caro an absolute powerhouse of a tank. Sure, I killed my DPM to do that, but that's what makes this tank fun. You have that sacrifice where you have to think about what you're going to do. If I dumped those shells and then the Chieftain decided to push me, I could have been in a world of trouble, because the Chieftain can reload about 3 shells in the time that it takes me just to get 1 shell loaded in the gun. And if I shoot that 1 shell into the Chieftain, I now have another 21 seconds I have to wait until I can start reloading and getting my DPM back in the order. If you think about it, that's what makes the Caro such a hit or miss vehicle, literally. When you add that onto the fact that this gun is incredibly inaccurate, it's a tricky tank. It's a very tricky tank. You usually want to have at least 3 shells loaded in this tank at all times, because that means if you miss one of your shells, you still have the ability to shoot another if you need to, which is what I always like. So, in this battle, the enemy team has 2 mediums. They have a T100 LT and a T22. That is a problem. I have no mediums, which means at least in the beginning of this battle, I'm in a very big downside, especially when you add that into the fact that I'm still reloading. That means we have to wait another 6 seconds before I can even get a shell out and be comfortably not dumping my DPM. But because nobody's been detected yet, we're fine. We're just chilling here, reloading, and of course, the more shells I'm able to load, the deadlier I become. So at this point, we've been able to load all 4 of our shells, and with that, we are now unstoppable. But I'm going to be careful. We got the VK-72 getting absolutely annihilated on the one side of the map, and for now, I'm just going to wait here. If I don't move my tank, my camo will be very decent, and I'm just going to wait. There you go. Now that the T100 LT is spotted, it allows me to push out of cover, because I'm fairly confident if the T100's over there, then the majority of their team is over there. We got the VK-72 01K pushing up very, very far. I don't think he's going to push up any further than that, so as of right now, I'm going to use this advantage of what the enemy team's doing and try and get behind them. I don't know where the T110 E4 is. I also don't know where the T22 medium is, so those are 2 tanks. I have a feeling the E4 is right here, and yes, there he is. There's a 1 shell into the T110 E4, 2 shells into the T110 E4, and even though this IS-7 is probably going to shoot me, I could care less, as we were able to just dump about, 1,200 hit points off of that E4. Now the IS-7 is most likely going to push me, but that's fine with me. This is where being an auto-reloader is incredibly powerful. I have the ability to reload my entire clip in the entire time that IS-7 tries to push me, which just allows me to become even stronger. So let's see, is the IS-7 over this side? No, it is not, which means it's probably on this side. Now again, I have to be careful, because the T-22 medium, there it is, has just been spotted once. Oh, that missed big time. Well, T-22's not looking at me right now, which does give me the opportunity to get 1 shell into his tank. There you go, not too bad. Once again, we're just going to reload our clip. Now, I have to be careful, because if I anger that T-22 and he starts pushing towards me, I have to be very cautious about what he does. I saw that tree fall down, so the IS-7 was able to connect a shell into me, but there's 1 shell into the IS-7, 2 shells into the IS-7, and let's go for another tracking shot. Okay, well, perfect example of where the Caro's gun is incredibly doo-doo. I mean, that shell absolutely sucked, and it allowed that IS-7 to not only pen me, but hit quite hard. And oof, we were just able to get in the cover. And because that IS-7 missed me, now we're able to get behind him, get 1 stinky track shell into his tank. Let's go for a second stinky track shell into his vehicle, and let's go for a 3rd. There you go. Oh boy, but now we got the T-22 medium on our side. Now, unfortunately, at this moment in time, we are going to die, because we got the IS-7. Oh, never mind, we might not die. Okay, well, this is a very, very questionable situation I've got myself stuck in. This is where dumping the clip is not really what you want to do in a vehicle like the Caro. Now, I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do about that. T-22 died behind me, and that's what I was talking about before. If I anger that T-22 medium, he has the opportunity to drive towards me and try to kill me. So it was a bit unfortunate that the T-22 turned back. If he didn't, probably could have lived, just deal with that IS-7, circle around him, and punish him a bit every now and then. But because that T-22 got onto my side, I couldn't take a shell from the IS-7 anymore, which put us in a really bad situation. But, you know what? We distracted the IS-7, we managed to get the E-4 killed, and we managed to get the T-22 medium killed. So we essentially took 3 tanks out of the game, allowing our team to win the rest of the battle. Not only that, but we dealt 1,200 damage, probably another 400. I would say we at least did over 3,000 damage this game. I don't know if we did anything more than 3,000, maybe like 3,500, but I'll take it. Not a bad game at all. Really, the only damage we missed out on was about maybe 500 hit points on that IS-7, so yeah, not a bad game at all. AIM XM4 is going to ram him to death. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Caro 45-ton. A very fun and incredibly rare tank. A vehicle that, as I've said many times, is my favorite tier 10 currently in the game, and a very, very enjoyable one at that. We did 3,500 damage, which is not too shabby at all. So, yeah, there you have it, ladies and gents. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.